I sensed something was off the instant my mother leaned in toward me there at the altar. The music hadn't even settled yet. Guests were still shifting in their seats. Her perfume hit me first. Cool. Syrupy. The same one she always chose when she intended to wound someone quietly. "We're giving the apartment her parents left you to your sister," she murmured, her lips curling into that practiced little smile. "It's already done." My sister let out a laugh behind her, sharp, too loud for the moment. And my father, without even meeting my eyes, muttered, "It's decided. She has 4 kids. Grow up. Grow up." On my wedding day, the whole room seemed to tilt, my unspoken vows dissolving in my throat. Before I could take a breath, before I could gather a single clear thought through the numbness, my fiancé Daniel turned toward them. Slowly. Then he slipped off his ring. The gas from the front row sounded like a match being struck in the dark. That moment is frozen in my memory, hanging there like suspended glass. A silence that isn't the absence of sound, but the anticipation of war. And honestly, I wasn't surprised. Not anymore. Because by then, I already knew everything. There was a time I thought my family loved me. Naive, yes, but I clung to that belief the way someone drowning clings to a piece of debris. When Daniel first met them, I remember thinking he warmed every room we entered. He held my hand during dinners where my mother listed my flaws as if reading ingredients off a box. He'd squeeze my fingers under the table, a quiet reminder that he saw me. That contrast, that hope, that's what made the betrayal slice so deeply. You brace yourself for foes. You never expect it from your own blood. It began small the way these things do. My sister borrowed money from the apartment fund my grandparents left me. Then bigger things, missing files, altered documents, my name mysteriously disappearing from accounts. Whenever I mentioned it, my mother tilted her head and said, "You remember wrong." "You always do." And for a while, I almost believed her. Gaslighting works best on someone trained since childhood to distrust herself. Then one night, I found the email. My father had forwarded property transfer papers to my sister. Subject line, "She'll get over it." She always does. And right beneath it, my sister's reply, "We'll tell her at the wedding. She won't cause a scene. She never does." My chest didn't ache, it burned. Something inside me shifted that night, like a lock clicking open. I didn't cry. I didn't confront them. I didn't even tell Daniel. I just learned. I learned how easily people underestimate the quiet daughter, the one who watches, who takes note, who waits. For weeks, I gathered proof, screenshots, recordings, copies of altered papers. I contacted my grandparents' old attorney. Turns out my family never imagined I'd know what a forensic accountant was, much less hire one. And I learned something even more valuable. If you want revenge to land cleanly, you don't shout. You prepare. First, I froze every account tied to the apartment using the original trust documents. Overnight, my parents' plan screeched to a halt. Second, I legally restored my ownership, quietly, discreetly, with signatures they'd eventually face in court. Third, I told exactly one person, Daniel. He listened, his jaw tightening, something fierce and protective flickering in his eyes, not anger, something deeper. He said, "I'll follow your lead." And I believed him. So there we stood, my parents smug, my sister smirking, my ring trembling on my finger, and Daniel holding his in his hand. He didn't shout. That made it worse. "Before she grows up," he repeated to them, "maybe try doing it yourselves." My mother's smirk wavered. Daniel stepped forward, his voice low enough that everyone had to lean in. "You tried to steal from her. You tried to humiliate her today. But here's the issue, you're already too late. She knows, and she's already undone every single thing you tried." My father blinked, bewildered. Daniel went on. "And by the way, the apartment is legally back in her name. Your attempted transfer is under review for fraud. Congratulations. You'll be getting letters soon." Silence swallowed the room. My sister's complexion drained. My mother finally looked at me, and for the first time, I saw fear. I didn't speak. I didn't have to. Sometimes the best revenge is delivered by someone who chooses you. Daniel turned back to me, slid the ring onto my finger again, and whispered, "No one takes from you. Not anymore." I walked away from my parents that night without looking back. They reached out afterward, angry first, then begging, then pretending nothing had happened. I never replied. People think revenge is fire, but for me it was quiet. A door closing gently, a weight finally lifted.